that we've done, the over 30 million Ghanaians that we've done up to stage 2.
Yeah, 30 million cards.
30 million cards.
Yes.
Are they improper?
Yeah, but the challenge is you could have people impersonating others.
That is where the confirmation or verification will bring those things up. Yeah. Like my brother said, someone used his Ghana card to register for someone else. Yeah. And there was a police case, and the person was rather arrested because on the number, it was traced to you. Yeah. And I'm asking, are we going to start the process from scratch? Or we are going through the verification to fish out.
But don't you see the justification to start the process again?
Then you are
because you are not able to verify.
The Ghanaian.
How? But you're not able to verify.
There are 3 stages, and the Ghanaian has gone through 2 stages already. It's left with the last stage.
Yes.
Are we going for the last stage, or we are going to start afresh?
But that's what I'm saying. That based on the principle
through the last stage, we'll be able to fish out those who use their cards to register.
How so? When you've not verified?
The verification is the last stage at this point.
Okay, I get it. So
you feel the Ghanaian going through the last stage, the verification, or we are going to start from scratch?
But the challenge you would have
each of them will pose different challenges.
But what I'm saying,
each of them will pose different costs.
Doc, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I'm also saying the reverse point is that that from the base of it, from the start of it, you're not able to tell that indeed if it's Chatta that's coming with his card, or maybe Solo is coming with his card, that card
the verification will bring it up.
How?
If my number is registered with your Ghana card and I'm going to the verification,
how do we verify
my fingerprint will not match with the details on the same. That's what the verification will seek to do. So when I go and it's not my name or Ghana card on this number,
then we proceed.
Then I can be fished out for using your Ghana card details to register my number.
So no need to start again.
There's no need to go for.
So we should just verify this.
Go for verification. Those that will be phased out can then go and start the process proper using the proper document for registration. Starting the process from scratch to end
is where you have a challenge.
And it's just going to burden us.
Okay, Ivan, let me bring you in, and Doc, I'll come back to you. The point now is about verification, which Doc is saying, well, then let's not start the process again, because that'll be too much of a cost to the average Ghanaian now.
Yeah, let me say good morning to you, to our cherished viewers. Blessed, whenever the mention of SIM re-registration is mentioned, I think it invokes a certain negative passion and sentiment among Ghanaians because of what we were subjected to some few years ago. I think the process as it was outlined then was very cumbersome, and Ghanaians went through a hell of frustration to have their SIM card registered, considering the timelines, the short timelines created. So I know that to wake up today for you to be told that the whole exercise was half useful, that I think you really be worried about it. And you begin to ask yourself as a country, what at all can we get it right? Because this is not the first time we are doing SIM registration. We've done it once, this is the second time, we're coming to the 3rd time. So what the hell can we get it right in this country, you understand? So I think it's a huge frustration. And I remember at the time when this whole SIM registration process was activated, some of us had our concerns about the hasty manner the minister was going about with the registration, because it was as if...
Oh, really? It was hasty?
Oh, yeah. It was as if we were traveling somewhere. You see, this is a database you're seeking to build. You need to be very meticulous and very engaging to be able to gather all the relevant data that is required, so that you also allow the time to glide. To bring on forward a lot of people to have the process to be able to have their SIM card registered. I know a number of people who had their bank account and who had their SIM card blocked because they were unable to register within the time frame. Later, I think some allowances were created, even that some did not. So if today we are back to square one, talking about SIM registration and stuff, I think it is very important for us to situate this whole discussion in a context that will elicit some sort of understanding. Yes, the communication minister has provided baseline, but I think there are a lot of questions beaming for answers, because if you don't clear these questions beaming for answers, you will end up incentivizing many of the propaganda merchants to go. Definitely. Because you see, if you fail to, you see, in governance you don't create a vacuum. The very moment you create a vacuum, people will fill it with cynicism. People will fill it with everything propaganda, and you lose control. You know, controlling the narrative. So I think it's very important that where we are, costs related to some of these things, because I'm told the MNOs are the very people who very often will bear some of these costs. And there is this propaganda spending that that particular cost will pass to the customers, we the Ghanaians, which for me as at this point is speculative. So if the minister is able to provide all these technical detail, listen to when he said that they've not settled on the cost. So whichever the process or whatever is involved in this particular process, whether the cost will be taken care of by the telecos or by Ghanaian, or which entity will be involved in all these things. Some of these basic communication need to be communicated
for people.
Must be provided. Yeah, provided for people to understand.
When he says he's going to do a proper registration, is he being fair to the to the previous administration?
But you see, when you talk about SIM card registration, you see, always my brother said his SIM card is linked to his Ghana card. It's not just about the linkage; it's about the database, the linkage, the integration, you understand, and how you are able to verify. And the problem is that the whole SIM card registration was done for a purpose. So the question is, what purpose was it instituted for? Was to check some of this fraud and other related. But post that, are we still going through the challenge? Yes, it means that the process that was outlined wasn't successful. You understand? Because today the mobile money fraud is on the rise. People call you. There are people who are able to, through backdoor channel, able to take money away from people, and tracking those people becomes a challenge. So the question is that.
Yeah, but Ivan, practically speaking,
okay,
how can you end fraud totally by through registration?
No, you see, I think it's about the data integration. What they are seeking to do is to connect the phones, MI, EI.
No, I get that.
Yes.
How will you eliminate fraud?
You only
entirely by.
No. You only the risk. You can tame the risk to a certain extent. You understand? But to completely eradicate it is almost impossible.
So he's not being fair to the.
No. You see, he's talking about the registration process and the fact that it was not integrated into the database, and the minister has confirmed it, because the whole essence of putting up that particular data was to have it integrated and synchronized with other databases. You understand? And that has always been a challenge. Even the the Ghana card,
yes, the Ghana,
its synchronization with other agencies as it stands now hasn't been done, because I applied for passports some few days ago. I was asked to provide basic details, which at this time I shouldn't be provided. You understand? You go to Senate, they have their own data. You go to CAC, they have their own data. So we need to have a proper system, database that's synchronized, which allows all the agencies to be able to do this easy verification process, to be able to ascertain indeed information being provided by an individual.
So when Doc says that, okay, then let's not start the process again. Just verify, what you have.
That is why, because I've listened to the minister. He made a point that most of the data which were gathered at the time are not effective data that can be used for the processes that they are about to outline. For instance, he mentioned, is it verification? Some kind of
wasn't done. Yeah.
Yes, you understand. And then remember, I have always argued that if you look at the database, as it stands now, we have the fingerprint database there. If it is possible to work with it, we can build upon. There is always a way to go about some of these things. But if we cannot, and we need to start from the basis, that justification must be provided, because the average Ghanaian is considering the laborious processes that they were subjected to. And if the person is to be subjected to similar process without a justification, you may have all the political reason, but you may end up, being on the bad side of the people. So if the existing database is not useful, then that particular information needs to be communicated. If it is about just integration, then we know where to go from. You understand? So as it stands now, once it has been recognize that the existing database cannot be used for whatever that we intend doing now, and the minister think that we need to start from the process. I think all the basic questions surrounding this whole thing must be communicated and properly explained to elicit all the sort of understanding.
The former minister is not happy about the kind of politics the current minister is doing. That at least give credit where it's due. No,
you see, when the entire process began years back,
you recall what the was saying?
Yeah, there were concerns. A lot of people raised concerns about the processes they were going about it, and people predicted today. You understand? People predicted today. But at the time, most of the people were not amenable to reason and wisdom.
Yeah, but this was the same sector minister that said there will be part of the, as he's saying, Stubborn Academy.
Yes.
You know, he made those.
Yeah, that is a fact. Yes, some judge made it, but he had his concerns, and I think you see his concerns today, to a certain extent, has been verified. Has been I don't know how
justified.
Has been justified.
Really?
Yeah, because their concern was no. The concern raised at the time wasn't because people didn't want to have their SIM card registration. You understand?
Before even the process started.
No. I'm saying that it wasn't because they didn't want to have their SIM card registered, but people were concerned about the processes that they were going through, to the extent that today will arrive. And here we are today, because the whole process as it was assembled wasn't going to take into consideration many of the questions or many of the concerns and the challenges we are having today. So they were being asked to slow down and make sure that there is a proper integration. You understand? Because you cannot just build up a database and not have it integrated into the NIA
and even
database.
Now, the sector minister has not provided.
Did the government say at the time the registration was, sorry to cut you, that we're not going to integrate? At that point,
but the minister has confirmed it.
No. At the point, you said there were problems he had because we're not going to have integration, and I'm asking, did the government?
No, it wasn't just about just the integration.
Based on what did he?
No. That is even inconsequential.
So why is that the case? Because
based on what
we see the concerns raised were multifaceted. It wasn't just
before the rollout.
The government at the time did not tell you that
the integration.
Yes.
I'm saying that. You see, the agitation didn't start prior to the...
It started.
I'm saying that it wasn't just limited to before the registration. Even during the registration, even post the registration, these concerns were being registered all over.
So what reason...
Hold on.
The last one. Okay, the last one. What reason did
he give before the start?
Yeah.
No, it's not just about Sam George. Sam George is one of many Ghanaians.
But he's the one leading us today.
No, it doesn't matter. Sam George...
He doesn't matter in the scheme of things.
You understand? It's about the concerns Ghanaians have. You can sit here and debate Sam George.
Yes.
But Sam George is not my concern here. I'm concerned about many Ghanaians who will be subjected to this particular process and the concerns that people had. You go on social media.
Yeah, but consistency is important.
I understand. You see, that consistency becomes a problem when you zoom in Sam George as an individual and discuss him. You understand? My concern has to do with the many concerns raised by Ghanaians on various media platforms, that the processes are...
Ivan, are you not picking and choosing then?
No.
Why the minister matters is he's the policymaker now.
Yes.
He has an ideological underpinning about the process.
To help you. He was the ranking member on the committee. He was not just speaking of himself.
I'm saying that
just to help you.
The concerns raised by Sam George it was personal. You understand? And many Ghanaians had similar challenge. It wasn't just Sam George.
He's now asking. Let me give you a scenario. Okay. He's now asking people. Okay. This is the same Sam George who is now asking people to go out and register.
Yes. So now is still. Is he providing reasonable grounds and justification for the registration? No, so that is the question. Is he providing reasonable grounds and justification?
So whatever he did in the past will not matter?
No, it doesn't matter if he is able to provide reasonable basis, because the fact is that this particular process was done to solve a problem. Yeah. Because as a policy, you identify a problem, you design the policy to address the challenge. Yeah. The policy has failed to address the problem. You understand?
I get that.
And whether it can be built on, and we can start from afresh, depending on the objective the minister want to have.
So we leave out Sam George.
No, yes, you look at the broader picture, what he's seeking to achieve, because the fact is that as it stands now, the registration process, the synchronization, the database integration, everything has failed. That is why today it's so easy than before to even have some of these fraudulent activities on our mobile monies. At the end of the day, tracing the person becomes a problem. And the person is coming up with either option that this time around, the integration will be done in such a way that even the machine, the phone that will be used to engage in those fraudulent activities, you can even lose it. You understand? Yeah, so the question that we need to genuinely ask the minister is that the NPP built a database, which is the biometric database. Yes, are we going to trash it? Yeah. Or can we build upon? Because these are Ghanaians. You understand? These are the relevant questions that we can ask, rather than zooming in the minister and be discussing his personal opinion in the past. That was his concern. And some of us had our concern because at the time, my concern concern has to do with the hasty manner we were subjected to, and the fact that people were not ready to even provide reasonable basis as to why we should be subjected to that laborious process. You understand? Okay, so and at the end of the day, if we come back today and after being subjected to this long haul of a process, to be told that that particular process in the end is inefficient, then that is quite problematic. And I think we must begin to make people face certain punitive sanctions so that the average Ghanaian will not be taken for granted.
If you're saying it was inefficient, the former minister is telling you whatever she had to do, she had done that. It's just a linkage. That's not.
No. But if just about linkage, we could easily do it, because if you listen to Sam George and the narrative he's provided, it has nothing to do with just integration. Okay. You understand? So I think there is a problem. We must begin to accept some of these realities and build on. And as a country, I feel ashamed that we are even having this particular conversation, because if we cannot even get civil registration right as a country, the question, what the hell can we get right in this country?
Let me bring in,
very often we do politics with this accusation, counter-accusation, recrimination, and we move on.
But I mean, just to be fair, Sam George was very vociferous.
You see, I am not here defending Sam George.
I get that.
You see, my major concern has to do with the other concerns raised by Ghanaians, and the fact that those concerns today has been justified. You understand, within the context of our discussion. And the former minister has even provided in his write-up.
She has confirmed.
She has only confirmed. She didn't say anything. You understand? She has only confirmed the fact that whether there was a bad blood between her and the minister, that was not our business. But the fact that the integration was not done, and what we sought to achieve with the registration, we did not achieve that.
I'll come back to you,
multiple registration card with other people's names. These are some of the things we want to remove and move on as a country.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Evan and Doc. Solo, let me hear from you. Solo, because at the time you were a member of the NPP, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll be hearing from the Cyber Security Authority shortly. So a lot will be happening today. But Solo, you were a member of the NPP at the time when all of this was happening. Esla Akufo is telling us now that this whole claim, by the president, by some other individuals, that look, she wasn't speaking to the NIA boss. The process broke down because there was no cordial relationship between the NIA, the leadership at the time, and Esla Akufo. That claim should not even be taken seriously, because as far as she is concerned, she still kept the professional relationship going.
Her statement rather confirmed what people have been saying. What did she say? If you had a very good working relationship with Prof, the main issue was to synchronize the NIA's data with the telcos. And you yourself conclude that didn't happen. So what was happening then? That was the issue then. I mean, some of us, because you see, this whole registration exercise, people limited to only the mobile phone. I am into transport business. The hell I went through, because all our trucks and buses that are on the road, we have what we call trackers. And these trackers use SIMs. And then these SIMs, you use your corporate registration documents to register. The sort of ordeal you go through with the telco before you get all these SIMs re-registered, people have no idea. So they sit in their offices and they just throw issues out there for us to go and follow. At that time, when we were telling them, because I was in the NPP, but I told her that, Madam, it's not as easy as we are only registering our SIM for mobile telephony. There are other SIMs connected with what you want to do. So take your time and get the NIA on board. She refused. Under Akufo Addo's regime, you couldn't touch her. She was untouchable. Either than that, she would have been fired with how she managed the whole SIM registration from 2021 to 2023. Hey, we are back to square one. But you see, I am not of the opinion that we must go back and do re-registration. As a matter of fact, in these whole discussions, we are leaving out the telcos. What's the role of the telco? It is your platforms that are being used to dupe innocent people. So why must you also not take the flag? Why must you not be punished for allowing your systems to be used to dupe people? Because if you read the LIP 2006, let me read a portion for you so that these telcos will not get away with impunity. And successive governments, they allow them, and they want to take the flag. When the operators themselves ought to do what is right. What is SIM?
So where is the point for regulation?
What is SIM? SIM is subscriber identity model.
Yes.
Who are we subscribing to? Are we not subscribing to these telcos? So they must be able to identify whoever uses their line. You give us the line.
Yes.
So you have given my number 022889996.
Yes.
It must be unique. Every number is unique to a particular.
When you were subscribing, you didn't tell the telcos that you're going to be using your SIM card for fraud.
No, but when I was subscribing, I gave you my data. There's fraud will never get away from the system.
Yes.
The reason why.
So why blame these?
So for instance. He told us that he has been swindled.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Immediately the telcos must be able to help to unravel the person that did that. That is what we expect from them. So that the law takes its course.
But so these are private organizations.
What are you talking about? You gave me a unique number.
Yes, yes.
You gave me a unique number. That number is unique to me. And when I was registering, you demanded my ID cards. You demanded certain basic information from me.
Yeah.
So that you can identify me at all material time. Now the person is swindled, then we cannot identify the person. Is it not the telcos aiding these people to
the fear is you'll be shifting responsibility. You'll be shifting responsibility to the private organization and not the government agency that you are paying taxes
but
to.
I'm not. The government, they don't give me my telephone number.
How did they get it?
So the point is that, you see, we are living, it's just like going to a bank. When you go to a bank and go and withdraw money, the moment you get out, there's somebody chasing you. You think the information came from where? So we must begin to also take a critical look at these telcos.
Yeah, but there's no basis. There's no evidence right now. So to prove that these people are giving your data.
But who else? Who else is having my data? You gave me the unique number.
Okay, I'll give you an example.
Yes.
In the lead up to the election.
Yes.
You know that our document was out there on Gmail.
Yes.
That had your number. Your number was in that document.
Yes, but that was wrong.
Yes, so I'm saying that there are possible means by which your number could be
but what I'm saying is that I don't want to go into realm of conjectures. You gave me a number. Now we are narrowing to specifics.
Yes.
That the telcos
gave you a number.
They gave me a number. Unique to me. Yes. Because the number that I have, nobody can have that number.
But you've given that number to some other people, right?
So then...
So you've given your contact to your friends.
No, but nobody can use my number.
Yes.
In the same way I'm using my number. If I'm using my number, nobody can replicate that number. You understand?
That's true.
What I'm saying is that the process that we are talking about is the reason why we are having this discussion.
Yes.
The telcos must also be part of the blame. And this is backed by the LI 2006 itself.
Right. Which you've just...
You understand? Yes. That they must identify all subscribers. If you cannot identify people are hiding behind fake numbers to be duping people, why must you go and blame someone else? It means the government itself is not getting it right. So that is one leg of it. Number two, you see, NIA, you know we are spending money before, in getting the Ghana card. We were told that within 15 years we were going to spend about 1.2 billion for the NIA card, and that they are spending about $293 million. What I remember Professor Tifa telling us or saying in those days was that they will recoup this investment by selling the data to various entities or institutions that would rely on it. This is where the problem is. So in Ursula's situation, she did not want to pay for that. Pay that money.
Oh, how?
That's how come they didn't give it to them. That's how come. That was the long and short of it.
So it's our money.
Pay me, you say you won't pay me.
Solova, you don't know that first.
No, but that is a fact. I mean, go and ask her.
It's our money.
But what else? That a state institution, remember the NIA is a state institution.
Yes, it is.
And the Ministry of Communication is a state institution. Now they are doing a registration, a data government to government, then one will say, I won't give you.
But see, that's what Doc was saying, that at the start of the process, that's the question he was asking, Ivan, that before the process started, at no point did government communicate or NIA communicate that, look, we will not allow the verification process to happen. They never stated that, not even during the process.
At the point, Professor Tifa made a claim that if they did not pay, the NIA was not going to release. I'll get the document for you.
Okay.
I mean, that was the basis of the controversy. And then came the ego of the sector minister. If you are not going to, you know, women, the way they fight. If you are not going to give me, take your data, you go ahead.
Oh, so you are dramatizing.
I am only telling, where are we now? You must be angry at Ursula. She's hiding somewhere and telling us all this.
She's not hiding. She issued a statement.
Issue what?
Yeah.
She only
you know, she bought something called self-help app.
Yes.
We were paying 5 cedi for it. Where did that money end? This country will do anything anyhow. A common issue of SIM registration. Ghana with a population of 34 million people. India has a population of 1.4 billion. They are able to track everyone in there. China has a population of around the same figure. They are able to track everyone in there. Ghana 34, common 34. Not everybody even uses one. We are struggling with this. When are we going to go to the moon?
He's saying that's part of the politicization process because of the same thing that
let me tell you.
did.
Let me tell you. This business of everything is politics. I don't mind narrowing into partisan politics, but everything is politics. I mean, politics is everyday activity. So what is wrong if I say I am UP and I'm criticizing on what you are doing? If you do it right, would I not be shamed? So it's part of the competition. Competition must bring the best out of you.
So what some judge was doing at the time, Stubborn Academy, you endorsed that?
Oh, that was his opinion. If Ursula had proven him wrong, would he be talking again? Now he has the gut to also be talking because he feels that he has been vindicated. But I do not support the idea that we must go and do a wholesale re-registration. Okay. I believe technology could deal with this matter. Because as he was saying, there are others that got it right. So let's look at the areas that we have problems with and use technology or upgrade to deal with the matter.
No queues. You wouldn't.
I don't because what I went through the last, I don't want to see it again. And like I said, a lot of vehicles are on the road. They will disable it, and you can't even track your tracks. So they must be very careful. They must not look at only the mobile telephony.
Yeah.
And I also disagree with the fact that they say it's not going to cost us anything. It's going to cost us something. No business entity is Father Christmas. Already, we are having signs of our data running like Usain Bolt. We are yet to deal with that matter. It's very easy for the telcos to adjust their data to compensate for whatever cost.
So it looks like today you are not.
I know how
you're not speaking in favor of the telcos.
No, the telcos have a big issue.
But you don't have evidence now. So
what evidence would I have when I know that my data is running like Usain Bolt?
So.
Stop watching TikTok.
No, still no.
You see, Agyarko is telling me I watch TikTok.
You're watching too many.
Why would I not watch TikTok? When they are doing jandam, so that I can listen and then find antidote to some of the issues that they raise. By the way, I disagree with my brother when he said that there was no galamsey going on in Chebi. Let me read a paragraph from Professor Febo Boate's what do you call it? Galamsey report, so that our brother Ezekiel Agyapong would understand that nobody is. Now, a paragraph in there.
Yeah. Very brief. So
very brief. The impunity in the Eastern region is exemplified by near unbelievable activity in Chebi. This is Professor writing a very detailed English. I had a telephone call from Mr. Eric Entry of the Office of the President. And he narrated that the youth organizer of the NPP, Jesus Christ, youth organizer, was excavating for gold in a field close to the house of His Excellency, the President of the Republic. When we checked it, it was true. This is the report. You can read it. So, indeed, there was galamsey going on very close to the former president's house. And that cannot...
According to Professor Frimpong, we have not...
Nobody has challenged that position.
On the contrary.
What was the contrary?
The Attorney General then invited Prof to come and substantiate those allegations, and Prof did not turn up to it.
Prof, why would he tell her when he has submitted this comprehensive report? Where is that document that suggested that the Attorney General invited?
Be fair,
Prof, you know, between the Attorney General then and who was the Attorney General then? Was it not Godfred?
Yes.
Godfred Dami that was telling someone behind the scene that let's go and
okay, back to the...
I was passing my head.
It's okay. So let's come back to the registration. Okay. Have you landed?
So the registration,
yes.
I believe that they must use technology to deal with the inefficiencies rather than sending us back to those days that people were just queuing. And mind you, you see, it even has, the problem we have is that not everyone that even has this smartphone. And a lot of our people too, they don't have appreciation of IT. So they will go to a third party to do the registration. That is why I'm still sending you back to the telcos. It's not the telcos that have been doing the registration. When you go there and submit your Ghana card, then they use it to be registered for a lot of people. They are the cause of all our nemesis. But you want to allow them to go scot-free, and then you'll be boxing amongst ourselves, and then they'll be laughing. No way. If we want to do this, we must go back. All those that did the last registration. After all, the telcos had serial numbers for every share data that took the registration. Let's look at the numbers that are defrauding people. Who are those who registered them? We must be able to identify them, the staffs, so that either they are barred from taking part in the next registration or they are interdicted.
So then let's, I think, deal with the final. Are you saying that you don't have anything to tell the sector minister?
Who?
Sam George.
Sam George.
Yes.
I have told him that he must use technology.
That's all.
Beyond that, I told you that the data is running.
Okay.
Beyond that, there are certain areas I am using Airtel TV. There are certain areas in Accra I don't get service.
And the internet.
The internet is very bad. These are areas that he must be dealing with. And this must be basic. Because you see, communication ministers around the world are now doing what we call Internet of Nations, or IAs. We have not even gotten to the IA level. These are basic things that must be rectified immediately. So he must sit up and deal with this issue.
You should apologize to the former sector minister.
The former sector minister must rather apologize to him, because on that score he was right. But Ursula just confirmed that there was no synchronization between the NIA and the telcos, which was the bone of
yeah, but she says the database is there capturing.
Which database? The database has always been there. Before Ursula registered us, the telcos had our data. They have always had our data. That's why I was sending your mind back. That what is SIM? SIM is what subscriber identity model. So anybody that is having a contact number, your information is with the telcos. It's the reason you have a number. So if for any reason the telcos cannot identify me, that means they have been irresponsible. They have done something that is illegal, that must be punishable under LI 2006. You understand? So Ursula rather has to apologize
to Sam George.
And not Sam George apologizing to him, to her, and that Sam George must also not be over-promising. Because if you don't know the end game of anything, you cannot assure the entire people that this is going to be the last. How are you going to draw that conclusion? How are you the one going to go around the entire country and register? The human beings that are going to register, you will give them the framework, but they may not go according to, because of their own ulterior motives. So you can't be too sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you all the time. I see that you all want to. Okay, but let's do that briefly so that I can bring in Madugo online from Cyber Security Authority. Yeah, you wanted.
No, I'm still curious. I want to know a few things.
Okay, right.
There were prior agitation to the registration.
Yes,
there were. And so I'm asking once again, what informed those prior agitations? What informed the stubborn academy telling people not to go and register? Because at that point, there was no discussion on any synchronization.
There was.
Oh, there wasn't?
Prior to the registration.
That's why, that's why I haven't.
Were we told?
I'll get there. That's why he was. Yeah, okay.
Were we told from the outset that we're not going to merge the two data?
Yes.
From the outset. That's NIA.
Because NIA wanted to lead the exercise, and they were not
from the outset, there was nothing like the government telling us they were not going to sync the data.
Government telling us.
Remember,
it wasn't about government telling us.
A small intervention. You see, the communication ministry had met the select committee on communication.
Right.
And during the briefing, they had the view that there wasn't going to be any synchronization.
I'm saying that there were problems that were encountered during and post-registration.
Yes.
Those problems that were encountered during and post-registration were not problems we had before registration. So what informed those agitations prior to the registration? What informed the agitation telling people not to go and register? So we shouldn't hear and be doing blind.
But the people registered, oh?
Secondly, we are not personalizing issues. I don't do that. We are taking the worst of the sector minister, not the person sector minister. And we can't say we should brush off what the sector minister is saying. He was the ranking member on the communication committee in Parliament. The leader and the voice of the opposition then on communication. And we are saying whatever he said, we should throw it away. So we are telling us today.
He says you should focus more on what the consensus of Ghanaians are.
The principle and ideas of the minority on the communications committee in Parliament, communicated by the ranking member. We should throw them out. That's what we have been told today. It's the reason why the majority leader can go to Parliament, if this is how we are going to do our businesses. It's the reason why majority leader will go to Parliament and tell us that NDC never promised to scrap licensure. And when we come and we are discussing it, then we will be told that, oh, he's not a president. So even if he said it, we should let him go because he's not a president. Forgetting that, he occupies the position of the leader of government business in Parliament. So it is not about Sam George as a person.
But now he may have reflected.
It is not about him as a person. But we can't say that if a select committee's ranking member comes to communicate something, we should take it with a pinch of salt. Never should we do that.
Okay.
Now, lastly, there is no evidence that shows that Momo fraud is worse off today. If nothing at all, post the initial registration, what I have read is that Momo fraud has reduced.
And where are you also reading it from?
I read it. I don't have the document.
Yeah, so you also don't have it. So you also don't have
it. But there is no.
So you also don't have the So you also don't have the evidence. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
That fraud, Momo fraud is worse off.
You're challenging it. You don't want to withdraw your
the registration. It is expected that this thing will be.
So after whatever is coming, you will not have any Momo fraud.
So where's your source also? Where's your source also? That it reduced immediately.
There was an article.
So bring your source then I'll believe you.
I'll set for it. There is no scientific evidence to the fact that Momo fraud is worse off today. No one on this table can tell us that post whatever is being done or is coming,
Momo fraud will be eliminated.
Fraud.
By that point, we have made it.
So if fraud was
on for us,
entirely,
my studio
for which reason we have been told that the exercise then was bogus. Then we are telling us that after the new registration, should there be any activity of fraud? What are we going to do is also bogus. No, you.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, whatever he said. Let's hear from him.
Yes, so let's hear. Sam George had his concerns at the time. Many
the ranking member. Let's leave him out. The ranking member.
Is it Sam George had his concern? Many Ghanaians had their concerns, and at the end of the day today, those concerns have been vindicated. And I think we should feel ashamed we are here. You understand? Because the inefficiencies in the previous registration are quite obvious. You understand? And the assurances which were made against the fact that many reasonable concerns were raised, but people were not amenable to these concerns being raised. You understand? They went ahead to do what they do. They were at loggerheads. At the end of the day, the basic thing, which was supposed to be the integration, which will allow the database to be used to verify some of this identity and stuff, were not done. So we need to sit here and admit failure before we move on. So we cannot sit here and say Sam George was doing politics. What are you doing here? What are we doing here? You understand? So I think. No, just go ahead. No, because we've kept. That's exactly. Sitting here, that is what you've been doing. I'm saying that if it is not, if some judge did politics, the discussion you've done throughout, you don't have any issue with the registration fiasco that we've had, you understand, but rather the political aspect of it is where you vested your interest by veering off to galamsey and stuff. But the reality is that I expect that we should feel ashamed, you understand, that at this point, we didn't get this particular thing right. And we must be concerned about how we can move on from here. My concern is that there is an existing database. If we cannot build upon, the minister needs to explain to us why we cannot. And if we can use the existing database and build upon. But it doesn't change the fact that the enterprise registration was nothing but a useless enterprise. That must be accepted. It's the reason why there are these concerns being raised, and we need to find our amends and move on.
Yeah, the communications head at the Cybersecurity Authority is joining us. So apologies. Let me go online. I'll come back to you.
No. I'm not defending some judge.
This is a very interesting one. So Benjamin, let me hear from you, because even that's the concern about cyber safety and how details are now going online and people are getting all of that, using it for fraud.
Good morning. Sorry, I couldn't join you in studios. We had an emergency response, so we had to tend to it. First of all, the questions that we must all bring our mind to primarily is about whether there are challenges in the current registration process. I mean, and from the cybersecurity point of things, yes, there is. Because the number of calls that comes into our computer emergency response unit at the cybersecurity on a daily basis in regards to mobile money fraud and people using the same things that we ought to have registered to commit some of those mobile money fraud online is alarming. And when you carry out investigations really in terms of tracing this, you realize that majority of the things are registered in the names of different people than those who are using it. Which means that at the point of registration, there was some level of, I don't know how to put it, but the checks at the point of registration was a bit loose. Because why would somebody who is using a particular SIM to commit cyber fraud, or if you like mobile money fraud, you're able to track the number down, go and trace this individual, and the name that has registered this is probably a female, but then you go and get the SIM being used by a man, which means that we did not pay attention really to the Ghana cards that were used to register the SIM. And some people have used their Ghana card to register a lot more SIMs for different individuals. And that same individual Ghana card had been used to register multiple SIMs that different people are using. That's
why Solo was saying that then let's turn the heat on the telcos, because they have the data. They know.
I think that we should have a comprehensive stakeholder engagement, not only the telcos, but also those who regulate the telcos, and which then mean that government at the point where these registration activities that was ongoing, the institution that was supposed to regulate the telcos and to make sure that they are living up to standard must also be brought in the discussion to make sure that the exercise that our minister, our sector minister, Honorable Sam George, intend to carry out to be able to deal with this serious issue of crime. Because as we're moving into the digital ecosystem, there some of the challenges that we are facing, really, particularly, is people's accounts being empty and being frauded, you know, by individuals who are using, you know, who call you, talk to you, use. In fact, when you go online to even call some food vendors, people have duplicated their social media accounts, and then they place numbers there. And it's these numbers that you call and they engage you with, and eventually, you know, carry out this fraudulent activities. Okay,
so as the Cybersecurity Authority, now that we're going to start the process again, we're not too sure if maybe we'll be queuing or perhaps there'll be a new way of verification. How do you plan to guard that process? So that
I think that in terms of the implementation of this particular new registration sites, it's NCA that will, you know, be at the center of it. What the role of the cybersecurity is to make sure that the various security controls, so far as the registration is concerned, and the reports that we have received over the years are factored into the registration process, so we do not have none of that we know it is in the current system. So for us, that is the role that we will play in all of this. But in terms of the implementation, even though we are also part of the stakeholders that will be involved, making sure that the necessary controls are implemented. Other stakeholders like the NCA, the telcos, and I mean everybody.
So you're saying you have no stake in this. You have no control at all over how people are getting our numbers. I just
mentioned to you that in terms of putting in place the necessary security controls, to make sure that we do not have a situation where people come and register their SIMs and they are not the ones who pay those Ghana cards, and the challenges that are coming with the mobile money fraud. We will play a role in that. We've been part of the consultation process.
Okay.
The minister has made the consultation quite broad to make sure that the element of cybersecurity is taken care of in terms of the implementation of the process. Just like the NCA, you will realize that the press conference that was done, you know, in the past week, the NCA was the one leading the implementation process, and giving every update on it, because they regulate the telcos in infrastructure.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.